back to the Jungle King 007 channel. In today's episode, we're going to be working on my Cruze. This developed a leak. This vehicle does not have 50,000 miles on it yet. It's got a leak. We don't drive this one very much. It actually stays mainly around town. You know, over time when there's the heat cycle, cool cycle, you know, things wear out. But what happened here today is we developed a leak. Now you can't see it, unfortunately, because I washed a lot of salt off and ran a little bit of a pressure washer system down here, and it cleaned out all the oil. But if you can see down here in right next to the turbo is right here. This right here is the exhaust manifold, and this right here is an oil feed line. The issue you would see is oil leaking down here and then pulling up in a little spot back here, and that will basically give you the indication that this O-ring right here has worn out. What I've chosen to do is they do offer the O-ring here, but I'm choosing to replace this entire piece because it's from here. This is a banjo bolt, goes underneath and right down to right here onto this orifice. So I'm replacing this. Hopefully you enjoyed this because I did pay retail for this particular part. It was like $45 for this. Ridiculous, I know, but it is what it is. They updated it from 1 O-ring to 2, which I'll show you in a minute. And let me go ahead and just show you the part. Here it is. This right here is the brand new one. And there is the part number. I actually had to call the dealership to get this part number because I could not find it anywhere online. So let you see it there. Now let me get the camera set up and we'll start working on it. So before we get into the repair, let's go over some of the tools you'll need. I've got my cell phone here with a forum post up about this particular issue. I will put a link to the forum post in the description. You will need let's see what this one is. It is a T45. That is for the banjo bolt over there. This right here is, I believe it's an E10. E10, and what that is for is that one right there. What holds the shroud on. There's 3 bolts. There's one going to be here, one going to be here, and then one down here. And those are very simple. I mean, I already pulled those off. There they are. They're really small bolts. But that's it. That's all you need. If you want to, I would also suggest having torque wrenches on standby because they do call out a couple torque specs. And we will get into those when we get to that point. Let's get started. The first one here is that E10, so we're going to get that one off first. I actually just loosened it up, so there we go. Got that one, and we're going to pull this bolt off. And there's the first bolt there. And the next one will be this banjo bolt right here. That is your T45. Let's see if I can get it to line up. There we go. This one was a little bit high. There we go. So that one's loose. Unscrew that one now. It might get stuck. Looks like it's getting stuck. Yeah, this spot right here has a lot of temperature changes, so you might have a little bit of issue getting it off. Goes. I'm going to see if I can pull that banjo bolt out of there before I start pulling the actual tube out. Give me a little bit more clearance. See if it'll let me out. Well, it can wait. All right, so we're going to pull this, see if I can get a good grip on it. Just pop it out of there. Ah, there we go. And we'll just feed it out of here. Now see how simple that was? That was just 2 bolts. That didn't take long at all. And let me see if I can focus in on this piece right here. Look how flat that O-ring is. That definitely is the reason why we're having some leakage issues. That's why we're replacing it today. Let me go ahead and put this down so we can do a comparison real quick. Here's a quick look at the 2 parts. This one right here is the original one. This right here is the replacement. Here, I'm going to close up here, and so you can see the differences. This one here has 1 O-ring, and that thing is flat as a pancake. Probably what you'll find that not only this, but sometimes this thing is cracked, brittle, or basically just falls apart. Here's the update. They put 2 O-rings on it, and it looks like they put a flatter or a bigger flange on it, so it gets a a better push down, so it seals better. And then looks like they put some sort of wrapping around this, some sort of insulation. Here is the banjo bolt section. I should also mention, I didn't show it a second ago, but make sure you get both of these copper gaskets. There is one on here, but it looks like it's one with the piece. There's also another one on this side, and that just seals that bolt in place. You can see here's one there, and then there's the second one underneath it. So let's go ahead and install this new one so I don't have any leaks anymore. Now before you put that piece on, make sure you wipe down these areas just to make sure you get any debris. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe away from the hole, because you don't want to get anything in there, because this goes directly into the turbo. And if anything, any debris, dirt, whatever is to get in there, you might have just ruined a $550, I think is what I saw, $550 turbo. Don't want to do that, because I want this car to last as long as I can, which is why I'm doing this repair. Let's get that one cleaned up. If you have to, just use some carb cleaner, but looks like I didn't need to. All right, now let's install that part. Here's our part. Let's go ahead and feed that guy in there. So there's the banjo bolt sitting there. I'm going to go ahead and line up those O-rings. I think you want to put those in first. So, and actually, let's do this. Let me go get some oil. I'm going to oil these up. I should have done that first. A little bit of overkill on the oil, but hey, I like it. That should be enough. Yeah. Now let's install it. Let's feed that in there. Feed that right in there. Pop that down. There goes one O-ring. There goes 2 O-rings. And we'll start that one down by hand. There it goes. Okay. So you can see a comparison. This right here is the nut, or I'm sorry, this is the bolt that holds the shroud in place, which is right here. Here's that one. And here's the one that holds the piece in place. Looks like there is just a slight difference in size. And actually it looks like there's a slight bit difference in the thread. So don't get those mixed up. Okay, so that one is hand tight. So that's on. Let's go ahead and tighten this one down. I'm just going to do it not overly torque tight, because we're going to hit that with the torque wrench. All right, so that's enough there. Now it says here the T45, which is this one right here. This is your T45. Should be to 22 foot-pounds, or it looks like 30 Newton meters, which isn't very much. Hopefully I can get my torque wrench in there. Doesn't appear so. Okay. It's a small extension, so shouldn't be too much of an issue on torquing it back. Just need to make sure I can get it in there. There we go. Moving the light for just a second so I can torque it. There it is. So that one's torqued down. So the E10 bolt, this one right here, that one says 89 inch-pounds. Do not confuse foot-pounds and inch-pounds. Let's go ahead and torque this one to 89. 89. Now hopefully I can get this one in there. And do what you can not to over torque this one. You might have a bad day. It's actually what it says. And that is 89 inch-pounds right there. Now what we'll do is let's go ahead and start this up just to check for leaks. And we should basically be done from here. But let me go ahead and start her up just so you guys can see the after product. To start it, let's go ahead and open the garage door so I don't smog myself out. So let's check for some leaks here. Actually, it does. I don't see any. See if I can get the GoPro in there. Get a good close shot. So there's your banjo bolt. I don't see any leaking at all. Let's get down to the feed pipe over here on this side. Hopefully I can get some light in there. Sorry about that. There we go. And I do not see any leaks right there. Looks like we were successful. I'd also let it run up to operating temperature, which I'll let it do. Maybe go for a little bit of a drive. I have my own little circuit that I do just to make sure everything's clean and clear. I'm going to leave the shroud off for me to do that. See, shroud, but that's a simple 3 bolts install, but focus of this video was that part. Hopefully you all found this helpful. Try to do more of these things. These are simple repairs that you can do on your vehicles. As much as I don't like doing repairs, it is expensive to do if you bring it to an auto repair shop. But like I said, for I think it was 45 bucks for this particular part. Got her set up, running, all clean and going. So hopefully this will help you do the same thing. So it's been a couple days. I had to drive down south for a bit to go visit some family for an event. And just wanted to show you after that repair, because it's been a very short amount of time since I did it, and a lot of driving since then. Just to see how it held up. So let's run up to the front end. I literally just pulled in, and let's see how it looks. All right, so there's the feed line tube going into. Looks like I'm assuming this is the oil sending unit, because just above it where it says, what does it say, Henkel or Hengs, Hengs. That's where the oil filter is. I don't see a drop of oil out of there, because that's where it was originally running oil all the way down, and where you see that bottom bolt just above the that sensor there on the exhaust, it was basically pooling in there. I don't see a drop of oil there. Also over here, see if I can get a good shot in right there. All right, you can barely see it. Banjo bolt is just under that rusty bar. There is not a drop of oil there. That crushed gasket is doing its job, crushed down, so it seals up pretty well. So I'm gonna have to call this repair a success. So hopefully this helped you all. This is Jungle King 007. Thanks for watching. See you on the next repair.